All right, what's going on YouTube? First video of its kind for me. We're kind of we'll feel it out and kind of see how it goes and things I can tweak for the future. What you're looking at is DaVinci. Actually, let me back up. Kind of my goal with this. So a little about me. Obviously, you've seen the fitness stuff on this channel, and you've seen the gaming stuff on this channel. And kind of the third facet of who I am, probably the most important, is just my involvement with church. Ever since I was 10, I've been 10 is when I kind of started learning how to play the bass and kind of really making that a priority. I did jazz band in high school, 9th through 12th grade. I've been leading worship and playing bass for that. More seriously, like with Dean Alves' stuff over the past 10 years with my buddy Corey and a bunch of people that I've met kind of through him and everything. And so it's been a great time. I've never considered myself a super strong out front vocalist. I think that most of my strong suit comes obviously just from playing bass and kind of perfecting that and continuing to grow in that area. But with not having an outright strong vocal like to lead or even to sing harmonies and things like that, it's allowed me just to kind of sit back, play my instrument well, and to lead well. If you see me on stage, I'm bobbing my head, I'm moving around, but it also allows me to really take note of what the band is doing around me. Whenever I was interning at Geyer Springs back in the day, I was in charge of the band while they worked with, choir, kids choir or whatever it may be. And so just over the years, I've really developed an ability, I guess you could say, of just being able to lead a band well. Or at least that's what other people tell me. I hate bragging on myself. I'm really bad at it. But I just think that's a strength that I've invested time and energy into. And so I think I kind of wanted to share my process just over the past year. We've incorporated an MD role at First Baptist Rogers that I'm blessed to be able to have a part of and be able to help the band every week. I send out notes. I make sure that everybody's good to go for Sunday. And then on Sundays, I actually have a mic that I'm able to speak into the band's ears. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with what an MD role is or what it stands for, so it's musical director. It can be, it can take a lot of different shapes and things like that. But for us, it's me with a mic in front of me. But my mic only goes into the ears of the bandmates and myself. And that way I can kind of keep us on track. If there's any sort of malfunction with the click, if we start getting off, I can remind people of cues, of chord changes, funky things that can kind of throw the band off. I can kind of do that. Some weeks tracks mess up and then we don't have any, a guide telling us, when the chorus is, when the verse is, so then I can step in and take over that role, make sure that vocalists are coming in when they need to, et cetera, et cetera. More often than not, I'm there for damage control. I'm there for when things go wrong. I'm there to kind of be the fail-safe, to kill, click, and track if I need to, and then be able to speak and guide the band. If there's any spontaneous moments, if there's welcome and baptism, kind of walking through chord progressions when we don't have click and track. Really just kind of keeping everybody together, directing the music portion of our team. And so really with this series, is kind of, I think it's going to help me kind of grow in my craft, grow in who I am. But I think it's also going to be able to hopefully help others who have an MD, who are just starting to have an MD, and kind of help them learn like what the purpose of it is, the strength that can happen there. But it'll also hopefully be a tool like for teaching our team as future MDs come in. It'll also be good, obviously, social media content for me, be able to put videos like this out, just kind of walking through whether it's mistakes I made and things that I could have done better, which is a little bit in this video, but also the thought process I kind of have as I go through each Sunday, each week, each service. So let's kind of dive into this one. There's kind of the intro for the entire concept. So we'll kind of dive into this week's episode. So last week we did a song, you've probably heard of it, Jesus Paid It All. And so there's obviously a million different versions of that out and about that different people have played. And so this particular Sunday, 8:30 we actually, which isn't even going to be in this video, Ethan, our drummer, and I, we lock in really well, so it's really easy to feed off of each other, and be able to make things work and kind of improv and throw in our own flair on certain things. He listens really well, so if I'm feeling some sort of a moment and I can call it out in time, the kid's normally going to nail it. It's kind of freaky. He's a freak of nature, but he puts a lot of work in, and so that's why. So for the 8:30, we added in like some dropouts. We added in some, a little flair, this and that. And so then going into the 9:45 service, we were like, all right, let's try to remember as many of those things as we could, because it was real organic at the 8:30, and it sounded good and it fit really well and helped, dynamically, it helped musically, and so we wanted to kind of incorporate those at a 9:45. So 9:45, we'll kind of listen through it, but then I made an adjustment for 11, and then I kind of want to focus on that and kind of being in the moment and not so strict to certain things. We play with a choir and orchestra, and so there's some limitations to what we're able to do musically, what we're able to do chord change wise. If it's just a band and I'm feeling a 1/3 inversion or going to like a minor 3, doing something just kind of like being able to feel out those kinds of moments we can't necessarily do because of the orchestra, and it'll clash with the chords that they're playing. But that being said, whenever it's like dynamically, dynamic-wise, we have a little more freedom to be able to I have the freedom to be able to kind of direct however I feel, feeling out the energy in the room. That's a big focus for this episode, is being aware of how your congregation's responding, how your choir, for us, we have a choir behind us, how they're responding. And so kind of want to look at the two differences between these services and kind of the adjustments that I made. So let's listen to our 9:45 service. I may pause it and talk about a couple things, and then we'll look at the 11 o'clock and kind of the difference. So really start driving here. We'll choke it. I'm a sucker for a good choke on a downbeat like that, avoiding landing on the 1.
8th notes on ride here.
So you can't really hear it, so I'll kind of map it out for you. So right here, it's I'll praise the one, kind of goes through, I'll praise the one who paid my debt, raise his life up from the dead, excuse me. We go through it twice, and so the second time, per just our normal progression through that first time we're out. Second time, I wanted Ethan to come in with just 8th notes on the ride, just to give it a little something and kind of, hey, we're driving. And then as you'll see, he'll swell in, and we'll kind of go to like a slow kind of tom groove for the third time. Fourth time, we're going to build. And then times 5 and 6, we are full swing, full grooving, that sort of deal. So we'll go from there. So 8 notes on the ride right now.
Trying to start swelling in. Here we go.
Swell right here.
Band in. We're driving here.
Also a sucker for this right here.
We're going to drop right here.
Yeah, so there's your 9:45 service. Pretty straightforward as far as dynamics go. I love building through a bridge. I think there's so many different just opportunities and methods. There's a lot of songs that come out now that it's just a tom groove throughout the entire thing. Great example is King of Kings. Phenomenal song. I think they could have done so much more with the bridge. Not that I'm a better songwriter or musician or anything than them. And I bet live they probably do it a lot differently than the recording. But anytime, like on that song, when we get to that fourth time of the bridge, like we're driving. We are going at it, and we are getting big. And so anyways, I'm a sucker for just getting just slow, steady increments every time you go through, instead of just hitting the toms louder type of groove. So now we'll jump into the 11 o'clock service, and kind of I'll point out a few of the differences and kind of what was going through my head. Actually, I'll kind of preface it, I guess, before we start. So going into the 11 service, I hate using words like vibe and stuff like that. It is a worship service. We are there to glorify God and to bring excellence and glory and everything to Him. But in this 11 o'clock service, there was a lot. I just felt more freedom in the room. I felt more freedom in the choir. I mean, before I even going into this one, you'll see even as the camera pans across, like the hands that are in the air, you can't really hear the choir. I don't have, or the congregation. I don't have a room mic in this audio file, but I leave an ear cracked. They were loud. Their hands are in the air, so it changes the dynamic a little bit as far as from my point of view. I want to match the energy that they're bringing. And so that was kind of the audible that I called here. So instead of doing those eighth notes on the ride, after we were coming in, I really felt like we could come in a little bit stronger. And we'll watch it through, and I'll kind of recap a couple of the things that I think that I could have done better, other than besides just giving Ethan, our drummer, more time.
Slow in here. Band's gonna come in. Four on the floor. A little bigger. Keep growing. Drop and build. 2.
Hey, looks phenomenal.
Last time. Choke it here.
So just the freedom, the energy, the movement even on stage. So I didn't even have him come in ride-wise. So that's the first thing. And I just left both times out. You can even see, I mean, I'm backed off way far away from my mic as well, just letting that moment sit. And so now we've got a lot more disparity in how we're building. We've got 2 times that we're totally out. And so I didn't want to just come in on a ride. I didn't want to come in on that tom groove either. And so I was like, hey, let's...
Adding cymbal swells here. Let's do our 4 on the floor hits. 4 on the floor hits. Last time, start driving. Drop out here.
Yeah. So, big thing for me was just being able to. I didn't feel the moment quick enough. Probably. I mean, okay, quick enough. I'll always worship harder than I MD. So I'm not. I'll let any moment sit however it needs to, and if we get off, we mess up, cool. I mean, that raw abandon is what we're there for. But reckless abandon is what we're there for. But leading Ethan, what I wanted was more of a 4 on the floor, crash and ride, and kick. That's it. Just bah, bah, bah. Just that kind of vibe, just really pushing. And he was close enough for the vibe. It turned into more of like a slow build. And then obviously second time through, then he doubled it. And it still worked out great. And we came in nice and full on that groove. But it's those sorts of moments that we'll listen to it one more time.
Let's do our 4 on the floor hits. 4 on the floor hits.
So 4 on the floor hits. We were like close. I probably didn't want snare or anything to come in yet. Again, I mean, we didn't practice it. This is just kind of going off the fly, and he had 2 beats to figure out what the heck I meant by 4 on the floor hits. He could have just done tom and snare and kick and done it that way, and it could have been really weird and awkward. But Ethan knows better. Still close enough, and then he comes in with the snare.
Last time, start driving.
Doubles it. Goat's nose at it. Here we go.
Drop out here.
So, anyways, so that's pretty much the summary of this video. I just wanted to kind of talk through like feeling the moment and kind of what that looks like, what that can feel like, and just really paying attention. We have a room mic that picks up our congregation, so we're able to have that in our ears. I'm bad and usually just have an ear cracked, and so that's how I'm able to kind of just pick up on how the crowd's responding, how the congregation is responding, that sort of deal, and being able to then kind of communicate that to the band and kind of match their energy, ensure that everybody's on the same page. So anyways, I hope this was an informative video. I hope this was helpful. It's good for me because it allows me to go back and kind of recap my MD my MDing from Sunday, but I also hope that I'm able to kind of shed some light and give some tidbits of information to those watching. So I'm super excited. I hope to get good feedback from this series and can kind of keep it going. Right now, I'm screen recording for our Facebook live stream. And since the one waveform here is my MD mic and this one is the audio, there's no way to sync it up except for me to sit here and line it up manually. And so it'll be a process. But if I'm doing, one of these a week or however long, or maybe that's just, moment by moment. But if it gets good response, I don't mind doing it weekly and being able to kind of just help people along. If anything, we can just cover specific songs, things like that we're doing week to week. I can start posting my MD notes, whatever's going to kind of help y'all. But let me know in the comments kind of what you think, any sort of feedback, what you'd like to hear or know, cover in the future, any questions, that sort of deal. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.